What can you do when you're scared your ex won't reach out? So you're in no contact, they've broken up with you, but you're scared that they won't reach out, that it's not going to work. I'm going to talk to you about that, the cause of some of that, and what I've seen in 2 decades in the relationship coaching service. So number one, when you're scared your ex won't reach out is usually because of a belief that you're not enough, that you don't have enough leverage, be it your attractiveness, the emotional connection, and your value in the relationship, that you could reattract them, that you could get them back. And if you think about it, when you were in the relationship, especially if you had that great time in a relationship when it just felt effortless and it seemed like you two were on the same page, on the same wavelength, and things were going really well, you probably didn't think about it that much. Now, you could have struggled with some insecurities from a past breakup or just past relationship difficulties or something like that. But there were probably times when you felt really good about the situation. And it's likely, if you're like a lot of people, that the breakup blindsided you. And that's a big cause of this. I'm going to get into more of that later, but just remember, ask yourself, do I think I'm not enough? I can tell you that if they were happy in the relationship with you, and if it was a relationship that had a decent amount of time under its belt, then you are enough. You were enough, and you still are enough to get them back, to reattract them, for them to see your value. But a breakup is actually the ultimate situation of someone taking another person for granted. Your presence was not appreciated. And so no contact is taking away your presence. And the breakup, through their own actions, is removing your presence. At least that was their intent. And that can have the result of making your value go up because you're not there, you are scarce. And even if you think that right now it's hopeless, I encourage you to remind yourself that you are enough. And I've seen that happen many times when people did not trust that their absence could make their ex want their presence, and it would work out. I'm not saying that it works out every time. I couldn't possibly say that because that's not true. But I am saying that I see it happen a lot, and people are very surprised. They'll even say, I didn't know it would work, or I didn't think it would work. And sometimes they get emotional. They schedule a coaching session with me that you can do at myexbackcoach.com if you want a coaching session, but they'll schedule one to tell me this person has reached out and they want to get together, or even maybe they were really direct and they say, I miss you and I want to get back together. And they'll say, I just didn't think it would work, and they get emotional and there's joy. And that's because they didn't believe they were enough. But if you remember those times in the relationship where the other person was happy to be in the relationship, they were doing things to be good to you, to demonstrate and to show their love for you, and you felt like the two of you were on the same wavelength, and they were thoughtful about you and they were empathetic, then you were enough. So keep that in mind. But knowing that one of the things that surrounds this fear of them not reaching out and not coming back is you thinking that you're not enough. And so ask yourself, do I feel like I'm not enough, that I don't have enough within me to reattract them and to get them to want to come back? That's where you can start. Admitting that's the truth and kind of thinking through some of that can be helpful. Number 2 on the list of why you're scared they won't reach out is anxiety makes us impatient. And the anxiety you're feeling, and most of the people I talk to on coaching sessions tell me that they're having a tremendous amount of anxiety. And I do have a new course on that called Anxiety Peace, and you can get that at my website. It's called Anxiety Peace, and you go to myexbackcoach.com to get that course. But it's very helpful for anxiety, and people who are going through anxiety will tell you it makes us all impatient. You want the problem taken care of now. And as they say, the waiting is the hardest part. And so you are going through the hardest part of this, which is the waiting. And so that's something that accepting that and understanding that this is tough. This is not simple. And people who say no contact is easy, they're just lying and they're full of it. But if you're going through that anxiety, it will make you very impatient. And when it's not happening, even though just a couple of days pass, it feels like forever. It just feels like so much time. How could they let another night go by? I know those thoughts. And just keep a monitor of yourself. That anxiety is what is making it feel like it's taking so long, when really, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, if it takes 3 months, that may seem like a very long time to you right now because of the anxiety, because you're missing this person, because of the betrayal, the abandonment that you feel. But really, in the grand scheme of things, if I was to say to you that I can guarantee you'd get your ex back in 3 months, you would probably feel a lot of relief, and this time of no contact wouldn't be that big of a deal. It wouldn't be that difficult. You would miss them sometimes, and it would be not exactly ideal, but you could manage. And while I can't guarantee that, I can tell you that that kind of opens up your perspective to show you that really it's not that long of an amount of time. It's more the anxiety and the not knowing and the pain of this that's making it feel that way. And yes, I know that that doesn't change the fact that it's difficult, but it does help you to kind of see where some of this is coming from. And so working on your anxiety and learning how to manage and deal with that, I do have a channel on that, as a matter of fact, here on YouTube. And I do have a video that I'll link to here in the end screen about letting go techniques to help you feel better about the breakup and the situation. And so you can take a look at that. But that's going to help you as far as that fear that they're not going to reach out. Before I get to number 3, get more information on my emergency breakup kit. It's a powerful guide to help you get your ex back. You can get more information about it at myexbackcoach.com/EBK as an emergency breakup kit. And I'll link to it in the description below. That's the emergency breakup kit. And the staff here at Love Dynamics, we do have bills to pay, and I appreciate your support. Number 3, if you're scared your ex won't reach out, is that you've forgotten your past pain from breakups. Most people have had breakups in the past, and you probably thought that pain would be permanent, that you would never recover, that you would be miserable for the rest of your life. And yet here we are, you were able to love someone else, and you're able to feel this pain for another person. And that shows you, hopefully, you can look at that and see that your emotions, the way that your mind works, you are able to get over these things. You're able to feel better and to move on eventually. And so even if your ex doesn't come back, I know you don't want to think about that right now, and don't worry, I'm not going that direction with this video, but I am saying, remember the past pain you felt and how you probably thought you would feel that way permanently. You didn't. You were able to move on. You're able to find somebody else you're able to love again. So remind yourself of that. Even though I'm going to do everything I can to help you get your ex back, and I know you're going to do what you can, also tell yourself, even if they don't come back, I'll be okay because I've been okay before. I've been through this before. Remember your past difficulties and how you got past them and you overcame. That's helpful. Remind yourself. You might even make a list. All the past relationships you've had and all the breakups. And when you see all of them, you can say, you know, I handled those, I can handle this. And you may say, but this person was something really special. They were different than all the other people. And that might be the case. I'm sure this person is great, but you probably thought that about those other people when you were with them, if you're being honest. And I'll just tell you that I have had coaching sessions with people, and it was 2 years after we'd had the initial one, and they had been broken up with by somebody else. And they told me how special and different this person was. And they said, I really want to get back with this person because they're not like any of the others. What's interesting is several times I have been able to remind the person, didn't you tell me that 2 years ago? And we would both kind of think back, and then we would realize, and they would realize, yes, they did say that about someone else. And so that's common. Maybe you didn't. But it's also very possible that you did think that about someone else too. So keep that in mind. Try to put it in perspective. You do want them back, but give yourself a reminder every now and then. You don't have to do it every day, but just say, and even if they don't come back, I will be fine. Number 4, no contact feels like letting go. It feels like you are just relinquishing control. You're giving it away. You're letting them free fall away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You are, but what you fail to realize, or you're at least not thinking about it now, is that most things in life are that way. We have far less control than we really think we do. Control is an illusion. Think about all the things in your day that you take for granted that you really don't have control over. The brakes on your car, whether there will be an earthquake or not. What crazy thing might happen politically that takes all your income away. There's all kinds of nightmare scenarios if we want to play that game. I don't suggest that you do. Think about it this way. No contact is actually control because you are making the decision not to contact them. So you are in control. You're doing it on purpose. You have a plan to this. It's not just random. It's not just hopeless. You are betting on yourself. You're taking yourself out of the picture. You're saying, let's see if my absence impacts them. And if it doesn't, then that means that they were not in love with you to the point that you thought they were and to the point that you feel about them. And you don't want to be with somebody who doesn't love you back like that. It's really pointless in that situation. And you didn't really lose anything because they didn't want to be in the relationship. And so even though it hurts, even though it's frustrating, you want to find that person who really values the relationship and can be someone who can commit. They can stick with a commitment. They don't just leave when it fades a little bit. When the sky-high emotions aren't there, they just bail out. That's not a good long-term plan. You can't change anyone. Remember that. And no contact is taking back the control because you are making the decision. At any second, you could reach out to them, right? Even if they blocked you, you could mail them a letter. You could email them or something. There are ways around it. I don't suggest you do that. I talk about that a lot. Don't try to get around a block. But even in that situation, you could contact them if you wanted to. You were choosing not to. You were choosing to let your absence make a statement. And you're going to see if it impacts them or not. Because if it doesn't, then it wouldn't have worked anyway. But usually, if you had a good relationship with them, once they get past that relief stage and that curiosity stage that your absence actually drives them to anyway, to get to that third stage where they do start to feel concern, that's when the situation is more on your side. It happens a lot more than you think. I get to see it every day. That's why I'm so confident in it, because I do get emails every day where people are telling me it's worked. I have coaching sessions with people where they say, "Thanks, coach. You helped me get back together. Now we need to keep it strong. How do we do that?" So I do get to see it a lot. But just remember, no contact is you actually taking control and making your own decisions regarding the situation. Number 5, the reason you're scared your ex won't reach out is because shock causes doubt. Like, what else could go wrong when you didn't see it coming? It's exceptionally painful, but it also really rattles your sense of reality. And it makes you think, what else could go wrong? What else am I not seeing? Well, if I thought the relationship was fine and they broke up with me, then how would I know if they're going to come back to me? And that's a fair point. But also understand that when you are dealing with the anxiety that I talked about earlier and the shock of this and just the difficulty of it all, that it can make you pessimistic. It can make you feel like the situation is hopeless. It can make you doubt everything. And like I said in the first point, it can make you doubt yourself. It can make you think that you're not enough. But one thing to remember is that no contact does work a lot. And the good thing is that if it doesn't work, then you're actually just that much closer to finding somebody who is not going to leave you. But another way to look at it is this: if I take my presence away and they miss me, then the odds are good we will get back together. And so think back to the relationship. Do you remember this person missing you? Did they contact you when they hadn't heard from you in a few hours just because they missed you? If they show that type of pattern that they could miss you in the past, if they could admit when they were wrong, say, I messed up on that, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? They were mature, then that's a good sign as well. If you get a couple of those and you just look back at the relationship, then you have a good chance at this. And you also know that you're doing all that you can, because at the breakup, you probably tried to talk them out of it and that didn't work. So talking to them more is not the answer, because you were talking to them when you were in the relationship with them, but you were also around them. So they had your presence and they still left. So sometimes you have to take it away to make them hunger for it. You have to be hungry. Your stomach has to be empty for you to want food. And so just remember, you can tell yourself, I'm in shock right now. I'm in emotional shock that this happened. That's one of the reasons that I'm feeling this way, that I'm scared that they won't reach out and they won't come back. It's perfectly normal in the situation that you're in for you to feel that way. I can tell you, I see no contact work a lot. It's not 100%, but nothing is. But it does give you the best chance if the relationship was good and there was enough time in the relationship. So you just tell yourself, I'm doing all I can, and that's all I can do. Get more information on my emergency breakup kit at myexpatcoach.com/EBK. And you can schedule a coaching session with me by going to myexpatcoach.com and clicking on coaching and then clicking my name. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.